Tubers, family and friends, this is the next installment of Reveal the Secrets concerning the task force that the current president has created, and they're releasing all the secrets. And they're getting down to brass tacks, and at breakneck speed they are kicking butt and taking names. And right now the big question is, are they taking the names of these criminals that have created this money into existence and given it to people that don't deserve it? Basically, criminals creating it and giving it to other criminals. That's what has been going on here for decades, absolute decades, guys. And the current president is trying to stop it. At least that's what it looks like on the surface, and so far so good, at least what's in the media. And I hope it's not all a fake facade, psyop trying to fool the people of the country. I hope it's real, and everyone's very excited about it. So the next installment here is the 2008 financial crisis. Basically about Wall Street greed. Basically, they are a barometer of what's going on in the country as far as the financial heartbeat is of the country of the United States. And what is that heartbeat? That heartbeat is full of greed and selfishness and self-serving. You know, give me mine and screw the rest of you. That's what Wall Street is, guys. And that's what this country has become. Back in the 50s, 1950s, everyone was trying to do the right thing, to love thy neighbor and be good neighbors to each other and to not do anything wrong. And most people knew that crime didn't pay. Well, I'm here to tell you, for ever since the 60s started, now for 60 some years, that whole train of thought in the United States has changed to give me as much as I can get for nothing. Whether I have to steal it, kill for it, it doesn't matter. This is what people have done and are trying to do more and more and more every single year. People give up what is been taught to them as far as doing right, and they're turning to doing wrong. And that's just exactly what's been going on in this country. It's complete moral decay. And that's why these massive corruption and money laundering schemes throughout the government, throughout Wall Street, banking system, you name it, guys. It's a big, huge casino of criminals. And even the people of the country are turning to these criminal ways because of whatever reason, right? And that's exactly what Satan tries to do the opposite of what God wants. And that's why this stuff is happening, guys. And people are so naive of it, they're brainwashed to thinking that doing wrong is actually doing right. That's what people nowadays think that their wrongdoing is. They think their wrongdoing is actually right. That's why you have all these people on the left of the political spectrum been involved, and that's all the way up to these people that are 100 and some years old still receiving Social Security checks, right? And their families, right? They've been receiving Social Security checks for what, 80, 100, over 100 years, some families, and they just keep giving that money and giving that money. That's what the government inefficiencies, and maybe they're giving this money, getting kickbacks on this, guys, right? Workers other organized crime within the government. I mean, people have their hands out for easy money as much as they possibly can. And that's because of this moral decay. No one wants to do the right thing anymore. And this whole 2008 financial crisis was just one more, big crisis of proof that this is going on in the United States. That's another reason why I'm in the Philippines, where it's not so blatant and there's no divorce here, and the fraud is way lower. Why? Because the money is way lower. Majority of the people in my area are poor, dirt poor. And the poorer you are, it seems, the closer you are to God. And that's pretty much the truth, because the love of money is the root of all evil. And that's what Wall Street is. Basically, the greed and the root of all evil. And that's why this whole 2008 financial crisis happened. There's a couple of movies that I really love about this financial crisis. The Big Short, I've watched that probably a dozen times. And Margin Call, I've only watched that once, but they're both good movies. I recommend The Big Short. That tells you pretty much everything that happened during the financial crisis and the people that were involved. Did anybody go to jail? Nope, no one went to jail. Maybe one guy went to jail. And that just tells you again, that they just slap on the wrist, everybody look the other way, and let's just keep taking our money, right? And that's what's going on right now, even since this 2008 financial crisis. It's been 15 or 17 years later, and now look at all the corruption that DOGE is finding. So how do you find crime, guys? Follow the money, and that's what DOGE is doing. They're getting in there in the books of all these agencies, finding out where it's coming from and where it's going, and taking down the names of these criminals. And I know eventually it's going to come out where they're amassing this list, and all these criminals are going to go to military tribunals and jail. That's what I hope anyways, because there has to be an accountability, and there has to be a consequence for these criminals doing criminal activity. And I pray that that's what happens. So, like I say, I recommend The Big Short of a movie. No one went to jail. Who perpetrated all this fraud and stealing? Well, many entities and many hundreds of thousands of people were in on it. The banks were in on it big time. And a lot of you guys don't know about the banking system, and you should really research it. When you go to a bank to get a loan, you're not borrowing money from that bank. That's a crock of hooey. That is the biggest fallacy, joke lie that there ever was. When banks make loans, they loan the currency into existence. They create it out of thin air. It's on a contract, and it's created out of thin air, guys. So when you pay off a loan, you're giving money that you earned to these guys that created free money out of thin air. That's exactly what's happening there. You're not paying back anybody. When you pay off a loan, you zero out that loan, and that money that they created into existence goes to zero, and all the money that you've given them, they've just been putting it in their pockets, because there was never a real loan. Loaning is borrowing money from another person. And when these banks, they have a license to create it out of thin air. And that's how they run their businesses, guys. And it's a complete lie to every single person in the world. And you aren't going to know the truth unless you research it, guys. Research, and become smart. And that's why that'll get yourself out of trouble. Okay, brokerage firms. That's Wall Street brokerage firms. Now, some heads had to roll, right? So Lehman Brothers and Bear Stearns that were in business for hundreds of years, they're gonna be, they failed. And then mortgage companies, countrywide, their commercials were on TV left and right, and they failed too, big time. Then all the realtors. The realtors is another big, huge scam. They're taking a, what, 5, 6, 7% cut off of what you've been paying for your whole lives for a mortgage for your house. So, you know, there's another scam. And then all the realtors involved with these realtor brokers, they were getting huge upfront commissions on all the sales of all these overpriced homes, and it was a massive fraud and corruption system that eventually failed, and then these banks and brokerage firms failed. There were several banks that failed throughout the country too, and you know, this was just a tip of what we're seeing today of what was happening in 2008, of the massive iceberg of corruption, money laundering, you know, selfishness, and it's all because of moral decay, guys. That's what's going on in the world. That's what's especially going on in the U.S. Why? Because they're the top of the heap as far as they have supposedly the most money. They're the ones definitely with the most control. Why? They have the world reserve currency. So they're the ones that usually perpetrate the biggest fraud. So we're seeing it all come out now, and stay tuned for more of this. And it looks like I just got dinged by YouTube on my last part 2 for the World Trade Center attack. So I'm probably going to be shut down for 3 months on that. But I don't really care. I want to get this stuff out there, guys. And it's not about me making money on YouTube. We've made exactly a little over $100 in, what, 2 years now? Yeah, 2 years on YouTube. So, you know, that's not why I'm doing it. I'm doing it for a public forum and a public record, to get this truth out there as much as I possibly can, and to help you guys learn more. And how do you protect yourself and your family? Be somewhere there's no nuclear weapons, which is the Philippines. Be somewhere where there's no divorce. Where's that? The Philippines. Be somewhere, you know, that's the only place in the world that you're not going to lose everything, because divorce destroys and makes you lose everything that you worked for your entire life. So until Trump reduces that or gets rid of the divorce laws, you ain't ever gonna, you're always gonna have a gun at your head saying, oh, you could lose everything at any time. So that's why the Philippines is the #1 place in the world. So I love you guys, and for now, we'll see what we're gonna do next here on YouTube, because I probably got some issues with them, and I'm gonna have to be probably in YouTube jail for another 3 months. So that's the way it is. So love you guys, take care, and God bless. Bye-bye.